All right. Good evening, everyone. Please, we can all remain muted, please, for now. Just mute your audio to avoid conflicting mine, please. Mr. Clements, I think let me quickly so that's it. Okay, so good evening once again. Welcome to Python programming training session at Digital Z Hub. So my name is Eguero Prosper. Um, an ICT and IT consultant at Digital Z Hub as well. So what I'm going to do is to quickly correct the challenge, particularly Mr. Clement is having. That last aspect, what we did was we are trying to combine all the data conversion, particularly the string and the integer. Uh, I think the focus was on the string, the integer, and yes, and floats. So we try to create an app that can help us to collect users' name and then also collect their age. And then, well, the age, we all know that by default, the impute function, I think let me just quickly verify that aspect to see how it plays out. So what we actually did is that we created a name. We created a name, let's say this. We created a name and we are collecting users' input using the impute function. Using the input function, and we are asking the user to provide us their name by saying, enter your name, enter your name. And then this something created space. Then we went to the next line. Then we also want to collect users' age. So created age variable, and we also use the input function to ask the user to give us their name. So said enter your age, enter your age, enter your age. Now remember that what led to this particular conclusion was data conversion, particularly primitive data type conversion, how you can convert a value that was collected as a string to an integer, or a value that was collected as an integer back to what string. That was what led to this concluding part of that class. Now, with this something that led to that, we tried printing the type of data we have in H. And when we tried printing it, because we expect that the age should be an integer, should be a number, but unfortunately we discovered that Python with the impute function collected the age as a string, and that is why we needed to convert it to what? To an integer, and also what? Floats. Now, I will consulted a Python function which is used to check the type of data stored in a variable, so which is type, and then we open a bracket, and then we supply the age, which is the variable we want to check its value, whether it is an integer or it is a string. So if we run this code now, let's give the server to connect. So remember, we started with this Colab. We are all used to it. So because I'm connecting to the server for the very first time, that is why it's taking this time. Let me see. I hope I'll be able to scroll through this. I don't want to switch system. Okay. connected. So we run this, you see that it's asking us for name, just like we programmed. Just like we programmed, so it's asking us for the name. So let's say my name is Prosper, and then I press enter, it's asking for the age. So let's say my age is 70. Then if I hit enter, it prints the type of data. So Python is currently telling me that my age is a string. Of course, my age is not supposed to be a string. So that was what led to, okay, that should be the case. We can quickly convert that particular string to an integer or to float using the integer constructor or the float constructor. Remember, we discussed all of this. So just in case you come across this video, just visit on YouTube at Digital Z Hub. You get the recorded video where we discuss some of these things extensively. So now what we did for us to convert that age that is being seen or captured as a string to become integer. So we have to override the initial one. And remember, I told us that we have to call exactly that variable name the way it is. Because the moment you feed in another name, it means you are automatically saying that you are creating another variable that will store the integer. But in this case, what we are about to do is to update the age that will be collected here. So which means that at this point, this input will collect the age value as a string and pass it to the constructor to switch it to an integer. So that is where we will now use the ints. Remember, we discussed all this. So we will now supply the age again. So which means that you are updating age and you are saving it back into the old age. So if we run this code now, we will notice that that will have been converted. But let's print it so that we can understand it. So let's print the type at the end. So let's print the type again. If we print the type age, so we just want to check whether this time around is going to print the type of value age is to be integer instead of initial printed string. So let's go through it again now. Now I type, let me run it again. Okay, so my name is Prosper. Then my age is 80. You see, it printed it out as what? As int. So which means that we have successfully converted a string to what? To integer. So and again, remember we talked about float. You can as well say, okay, you are not converting to integer, you want to convert to float. Remember, I also told us that we have float constructor. So float is a programming number with a decimal unit. So if we run it now, we are going to get, let's say my name again is Prosper, and then my age is 90, and then this time around you can see that the constructor has converted it to to a float. Now the essence of float is that, let's say someone's age is let's say 90 points. Probably the person is trying to read the age as he has not completed maybe the last year. Maybe is trying to say that 11.5, which means 11 years and 6 months. Let's say the person wants to capture it as 11.5. So for the fact that you have that point, that should be what? A float. It's no longer an integer. We discussed all of this. So for you to convert it to float, you have automatically given room to people that their age will not be rounded up as an integer. I hope that is clear. Mr. Clement, by now you should have corrected or said where you got it wrong. So let me get that sorted out before I proceed with tonight's topic. Mr. Clement, can I get a response? I want to hear from you before I hope you have corrected your code with the illustration I just give now. I hope you are hearing me. Okay, so actually we are shifting our focus to a different topic. Like I told us last time, we are gradually rounding up the very fundamental aspect of Python, probably after tonight's topic. So which means that the next class we will have been entering the intermediate aspect. And then once we have dealt with the intermediate to an extent, then we can now say, okay, let's try and design or develop some real life application with what we have learned so far. Right? Though all this that we are doing, they are application because they can solve someone's problem. But we are talking about a more complex application. So we are still trying to solidify our foundation. We are still trying to understand the basic before we go into the intermediate. So tonight I'm introducing a new topic, which is very, very important we understand. So let me use comments as usual. Make sure you are making your notes. It's very important. So we are looking at Python. We are looking at Python programming operators. We are looking at Python programming operators. You see, when learning programming, not just Python, there are basic things you need to know, particularly operators. When we get to the complex aspects or the intermediate aspects of this program, you will see at one point or the other, me using some of this operator, and I wouldn't want a situation whereby some of us will be lost because there are certain symbols, signs, notations that a programmer uses that denotes a meaning, that have an expression. That is why this topic is very important. It sounds fundamental, it sounds basic, but any way you learn programming, if you skip this topic, you are going to have issue with some part of your programming. So let's start by looking at what is programming operators. What do we mean by operators? Whether in Python or in other programming languages, we will definitely work with operators. So, but in this case, I'm going to narrow it to Python. That does not mean that it's only meant for Python. So Python operators are special symbols, are special symbol, are special symbols, all right? Or keywords, special symbols or keywords used to perform operation, used to perform operation. I hope we are still together. So I need just one person to unmute and say, sir, I am following. Just need that response.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm following.
Okay. So this is simple definition of operator. So anytime we use in programming the word operator, we are simply talking about some signs, some symbols that has programming expression. They have programming meaning. So, programming is a language. So, like I told us at the beginning, when you speak anything, you must tell us what it is. You must interpret whatever code, whatever, statements you write in programming. And that is why it's become very important for us to understand, because if I use any of these operators, any of these signs, you should be able to decode what they stand for. It's very, very important, right? So they allow programs to carry out calculation. You can add that to it. Operators allow, they allow what? Programs to carry out, to carry out operations. They allow programs to carry out calculation, carry out calculation. So we need to understand all this, right? Calculation, it allow program to carry out calculation, compare. These are the core functions of operator. Compare data to outside calculation to allow program to compare data. Assign values. Assign value. These are the core function of rules of programming operators. Then also test condition. Also test condition. Right? And then finally, manipulate logical expression. All right, so these are the core functions of operators. So in case you are asked, why do we use operators in programming? There is no programming language you are going to learn out there that will not involve some of these things we are discussing at the very basic level, like variables. So indirectly, as you are learning Python, if you pay good attention, you are already learning 30%, 20 to 30% of other programming languages. Right? Now, because the basic aspect of all the programming language seems to look alike or very close to each other. Now, a practical example before we start looking at these operators one after the other, and also backing all our examples or our explanation with practical examples. So that is how we are going to take them so that it can sync. So we are not just going to just be defining. So once we pick one of them, we know the definition of it, and then we'll try and look at how to work with it in programming. So let's look at this simple example before we start taking them one after the other. So for example, I have variable A. You can see the reason why, if you have not watched the previous video, if you want to do yourself good, make sure you go and watch, because everything we are learning is a kind of relay race, right? Where some of the things we discussed in that previous class is what we are applying here. So as I'm mentioning variable, those that were with me in those sessions already know what we are talking about. So let's say I have a variable storing what? An integer. Now you know what an integer is. Let's say 10. And I have another variable storing another integer, let's say 5, right? So I can come and say result, that is, I want to perform a simple calculation, because in that definition, I mentioned one of the function of operators is that they allow programs to perform calculation. So I just want to quickly look at the calculation aspects before we proceed. Now we have a container holding 10. We have another container holding 5. So what we are developing right now is a simple calculator, because normally if you are asked to add 10 plus 5, you are going to require what, or request for a calculator. But right now you are writing a program to perform the calculation for you. So why I created result? Result is another variable that is going to hold the outputs, the result I intend to get. So we are going to, the task is that we should multiply the value in variable A and the value in variable B. And we created a container to store the calculated value. So what I'm going to do here, I'll say, okay, result, you are to store A plus B. Now, if you run this code, you are not going to get any output, because you have to print results. You have to print results. We have to print results. All right. Now, if I print this, we should be able to get what? The answer to be 15. So what has played out here now is that we use an operator. Can somebody unmute and tell us the operator that led to the result 15? What is the operator used there?
Is the result is from
Addition.
the addition of A and B.
Addition. So this plus here.
Addition. Yes.
Good. So this plus is an operator. That is the point I want to. So now let's quickly, now that we understand the concept with this simple example, let's quickly look at, let's take the first one. Let's look at types of, please, once you have concluded your communication, please quickly learn to mute yourself to avoid conflict of sound. Now, types of Python. I am personalizing it to Python. Does not mean that it's not only, they are not only for Python, please. So types of Python operators. Types of Python operators. So we are going to discuss them one after the other. So number one, under the operators, let me list them here to save space. We have the first one, which is called arithmetic. Arithmetic operator, right? So we also have the second one as assignment. Like I said, we are going to be taking them one after the other. Assignment operator. Let me now add operator so that we can save space. Then we have comparison. We have comparison operator. And then we have, whether you call it comparison or you refer to it as relation or relational operator. Let's get that right. Then we have logical operators. Then we have the identity operator. Then we have membership operator. Then, of course, the last one here is bitwise. Means we have bitwise. We have bitwise operators. We have bitwise operator. So all these are the list of operators we have in Python. In other words, these are different category of symbols that denotes different word expression. in programming. So once you learn them here, you are not meant to learn them in other programming language. They are the same across. So let's take them one after the other. So I'm going to start with the first one. Let's quickly focus on the arithmetic. Arithmetic operator. So by definition, we can say that the arithmetic operators are symbols used to perform mathematical calculation. So they are symbol used to perform mathematical calculation. Right? So this set of symbols, they are categorized under what? They are categorized under arithmetic. We all study mathematics at one point or the other, so we're already used to them. So the first one we have there, the first example of arithmetic operator is addition. We have addition. We just use addition. And then what is the symbol that represents addition? Addition in programming is represented with this. All right. So for example, the practical we did the other time, which is this one, we use what? Addition. So that settles what? The addition example. So just to highlight it here, I can say 3 plus 4. So this is what? Addition operator example. Now let's look at the next one, subtraction. Subtraction. So subtraction symbol in programming is minus. So let's say we have 5 minus 3. So to perform this with valid example, let's say I have a variable, what should I use? Let's say I have a variable s. Okay, we already have this. Let's say I want to minus 5 from 10. So I'm going to say print Python print A minus B. And then if I run the code, Python is going to output the value, the results. So let me go down so that you can see it. Result is there. Result is there. Okay, so this is the result. All right, so that is to illustrate the subtraction operator. Then the next one we want to talk about is the multiplication. So multiplication sign in programming is asterisk. This is a sign for multiplication in programming. Please take note of that. So let's say we want to multiply 6 times 9. So if I'm to use this particular variable to illustrate it, so I can say, okay, Python print. I can say, okay, create a calculator called what? Multiply. And then what are the values that is going to work with? Work with variable A, value, then asterisk, then variable B. Then I will just tell Python now print multiply. Let's see what we have inside multiply. So I'll say Python print multiply. All right. Okay, so if we run this code, we are going to get what? The multiplication of 5 and 10, which is what? 50. I hope we are following. Can I also get one person to respond to that before we proceed?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm commenting them so that we can be seeing only result of 1 per time. Now, the next Python arithmetic operator, all these signs, they fall under the category of what? Arithmetic. So we need to know how to what to differentiate them. So the next one is division. The next one is division. So in Python programming, how is division denoted? Division has 2 types, but let's take the conventional one first, which is slash like this. It means division. So for example, I can say 6 divided by 9, for example. So now let's use that the same variable. So create a calculator called what? Divide. Divide and store what? The division of variable A by variable B. So I will just simply say A divide by B. And then Python print divide. Print divide. You have it here. So if I run my code, I should be able to get what? The answer. Be able to get the answer. Just say that. So you can see, so that is for division. Now, we have another operator. Most time we don't consider this, but it's very important that we understand it as Python programmers, which is called floor. It's called floor division. We refer to it as floor division. And is denoted with 2 slash like this. So this is quite different from the single slash. Now, where you have a decimal number, this one will round it up to what? An integer. For example, now, if I divide, if you divide 5 by 10, you have 2. So let's say I update the value of variable B to 3, where I can get what? Remainder. So if we print again, let's say divide equals to variable A divided by variable B. And then Python print divide. Python print divide. So if I run this code now, see what we are going to get. Run this code. So we have how am I sure that this one has been executed? 10 divided by 3. This is not what we are supposed to get. I hope this is 10 divided by 3. We are supposed to have okay, let me set if it's already rounding it up for us. Let's say this. Okay, so I need to re-execute this particular, I believe that was the issue. I need to re-execute for that update to take place. I need to execute once you update that particular cell, since you are not writing in the same cell. You have to update it by running it. So if I run it here now, I think I'm able to get what I was expecting. Right. So let me take it back to 3. Then I have to what? Re-implement it. And then before I come back here to re-implement this. Good. So it's working perfectly now. So now you can see the way it's, it generated what? These decimal numbers. But if I use the floor division 2, let's watch what is going to happen. You see that what? It rounded up all the number to what? To integer. That is where you need it. Maybe in your programming, you don't want to give room for decimal. You want all the number to be rounded up to what? To an integer. That is a whole number. So you use what? The floor division. I hope we got that, please. Can I get a response from at least somebody before we proceed?
Yes. Yes. So
All right. So they are very simple things. So I just want to run through them before I give us a few minutes. When we started late, maybe you stay with the video on assignment so that we can cover a lot. Now, the next one is what we call modulus. Modulus in programming. Modulus. Modulus. It's either we call it modulus or we call it remainder. I think this sound more basic. Remainder. Either you call it modulus or you call it what? Remainder. And is denoted or represented in programming as percentage sign like this. So whenever you see a programmer using this percentage sign as an operator, you know that it's not the percentage, this is modulus. So for example, if we use the same variable, let's say this as a variable, and then I'm saying that A modulus B, let's say A modulus B, and then Python prints A modulus B, Python prints S. Let's see what we are going to get. So if you run it, look at what we have here. You see that it outputted only 1. Can anybody tell us why it outputted 1? Can anybody unmute and tell us why it outputted 1? What exactly Python did to arrive at that 1? Can anybody unmute from what I've explained to explain it to us?
it's the remainder. The
Remainder,
remainder.
because 3 can go
Yes.
in 10. How many times? 3. It will remain
3
what?
times.
1.
Yes.
Good. So
1.
that is what this sign, which in mathematics means percentage. But in programming, it means what? Modulus, which means what? Remainder. Like I told us, all these things look very basic, but when you see them in complex application development, you may not understand what is happening. You don't understand them. So the next one is exponential. Exponential, which also mean power in, like when we, in mathematics, we refer to as raised power. Exponential power, and is denoted with 2 asterisks like this. So let's use that same. If I say, let's say if I print, let's just print direct here. If I print 2 asterisk 3, who can tell us what will be outputted? Can anybody tell us what will be outputted? Can somebody tell us what we should be expecting? What do you think we should be expecting to execute that line of code? Do you have idea? No idea. Okay, so
The
that
answer
is
is 8 now.
the
Hello,
answer.
the answer is 8.
Okay, so let me run this.
It will be 8. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. That's
Okay,
8.
okay, you are correct. So that is exponential. So that brings us to the end of arithmetic operator. Now we will now go to the next operator. We'll now go to the next operator. So the next operator is assignment. Like I said, I will have allowed us to practice, but because we joined late, I want to convert the practice time because after all, they are very simple things you can master before the next class. Though I told us that we are supposed to go into advanced data type, but I remember during the week that we have not done operator. So probably if we are able to conclude this aspect, our next class we go to advanced data type. Now, assignment operators, assignment operators. Assignment operators. It's just a minute. So assignment operator. Assignment operator. So how do we define this set of operators in programming? So these are assignment operators are used to assign, they are used to assign values. You saw us using them in variable. Assign values to what? To variables. Assign values to variables. And to update existing values efficiently. To update existing what? Value efficiently. So that is assignment operator. So we're going to look at them one after the other. Example of assignment operator is this equal sign. So in programming, whenever you use a single equal sign, it does not mean equality. It simply means what? Assignment. It means you are giving a value. The word assignment, word giving. What we use to assign value. Like when we create a variable, for example, create a variable, let's say what? Let's say variable my name. Variable my name. Right? So you can see that here I'm using an assignment operator, which means that I'm using that operator, that sign, just to assign a value into a container called variable. So for example, here, my first name is Prosper. So next time you are asked to explain the expression of this code like this, you don't say that my name is equal to Prosper. Instead, you say that Prosper is assigned to what? My name. That is the right language, not Prosper is equals to. Because when you say Prosper is equals to, sorry, when you say my name is equals to Prosper, then you are no longer interpreting it as an assignment operator. Instead, you are now interpreting it as equality sign, which we are going to talk about briefly also. So the next type of assignment operator is where you have plus and equal sign. like this, plus and equal sign. It means different thing from just the equal sign or the assignment sign. So what this means is that it's equivalent to when you say S is equivalent to, or let's say, for example, in my code, I can say S plus is equals to what? 2. My programming, S plus is equals to what? 2. Now, what it means is that this is equivalent to, let me convert this to a comment. This is the same thing, same as, we are saying S is equals to value of S plus 2. So this very first one is a shorthand way of writing it. So as a programmer, you need to understand it. So let's look at an example so that it can sink. Like I told us, we are taking them one after the other and we are backing them up with practical examples. So for example, I have a variable called what? S. And I'm storing what? 10 inside it. All right. So if I do that variable S plus equals to 5. So if I print S, who can tell us what we are going to get? If I print S, what will be the value? Let me know whether you'll be able to decode it.
15.
15. Can you tell us the arithmetic you did?
And that is x plus 5. That is x is equal to s plus 5.
So just to break it down, what we are saying is that S is already 10, right? S is already 10. Then when you are plusing 5 with that S, which means 10 plus 5, good. So you are correct. So let's run it so that other can see it. So you can see it. So in programming, when you see operators used like this, you should be able to understand what we are saying. So let's look at another one. Let's look at another one. Let's look at another one here. So if we have a minus equal sign. So this is also an operator that falls under assignment, right? Which is just like is equivalent to the one we just did now, but this one will subtract, right? So this is same as we are saying S. For example, S is equals to value of S minus what? Maybe a value of S minus what? 5. So if I have to do example like we did, so if I come here now, this time around, I can just do something like this. Okay, let me print it here. So if I do S minus equals to 5, and then I come here and print S again. I come here and print S. What are we going to get? Can someone else unmute and tell us what we are going to get? What are we going to get?
0.
Okay. Someone else should try. Are you sure it's 0 we are going to get?
Is
5. 5.
Okay.
5.
Okay. Let's try. Tipo said 5. Sorry.
Don't touch this device.
I think let me take this out now so that we know what we are getting. Sorry if I'm using my passion, all these issues will not be there. Yes, so we got 5. So which means that, remember, S is 10. And you are subtracting what? 5 from it. So that is,
Don't touch.
so I believe that is clear to us. That is clear. So what I'm going to do now is that I will just give only 3 minutes pause for you to try it. Just 3 minutes. I don't want to give us too much time. 3 minutes, please. Whatever you can try concerning what we have done so far today. Just play with something and don't look as if you are not writing any code, except if you can assure me that you are doing it alongside with me already. In 3 minutes, 3 minutes, I'll be back. All right, so I believe we must have tried something over there. Okay, so all right, so now let's look at one more so I will understand the logic. Now we understand the logic. So let me take this out for now. So let's look at where you have asterisk and equals to, just the same application. So for example, we have, let's want to use the same variable there. So this is the same thing as S times the number. So we can as well say S times equals to 5. So we can print S. Who can tell us what the value of S will be this time around? We are using multiplication. Remember that asterisk represents multiplication. Can anybody tell us what will be the value of S if I print?
Is to know the value of x. Is this T10? If it's T10, then it will be 50.
Okay, so let's check. Correct. So you are right. So now you can now use that same logic. You can put the division, you can put the floor division, and so on, so that we go to the next one. So let's quickly look at comparison operators. Comparison operator. Of operators. Comparison operators. So how do we define this type of operators? So comparison operators are used to compare, as the name implies, compare two values and return either true or false. Simple as that. It's just like Boolean. We return Boolean value. Example of this. Examples of this. We have this, where you have two equal sign. And remember, I also told us then that it's either you refer to them as comparison or you say what? Relational operators. All right? So equal sign, two of them represent what? Equality in programming. Does no longer represent a sign. Assignment is one when it is one. All right? So this represents what? Equal. This represents what? Equals to. So let me just apply them before we pick some random practical for them examples. So we have another one which is exclamation equals to. So this represents, let me space them so that for those that are writing, take this one very serious because when we get to control structure, you see us using all this. So this means in programming not equal to, not equals to. That is what that exclamation equal sign means. Then we have this. So one is greater than, one is less than. So we're already used to this one. Greater or less than. Greater or less than. Any of them. So the next one is we have this an equal sign, which means greater, which means greater than or equal sign or equal or equals to. Then we'll have it the other way around, which is what? Less than or equal. So let's take few examples under this so that it will sync properly. So let's say I have variable D holding what? 20. Remember that we said you are going to return what? Either true or what? False value. And then I have variable maybe N storing 15. Now we are comparing here. So if I say Python Python brings variable D compare variable D with what? Variable N. So to run this code, we are going to get what? True. We are going to get true. So which means that what the program check here is based on the sign you are using, which is greater than. So we just find out from Python that the value we have in variable D, is it greater than the value in variable N? And it says yes. So if you change here now to the other way around, which is less than, then we are going to get what? False. So this is, now if we try it here now, if we come inside here and say, is the value in variable D equals to, so I'm going to use what? To equal sign. Is it equals to N? We are going to get what? False, because it's not. So you can also come here and check the next one and say, okay, you want to check exclamation equal sign, which means we are saying that value in variable D is not equal to value in variable N. So if we run it, we are going to get true, which means the program is actually what? Correct. But what you have, now let's do something. Let's do something. If I put here now, and I change this, to equal sign. So we are going to get what? True. So these are ways we actually check the level of intelligence of a program. So you can say all this sign, you will definitely what? Come across them. So now with that, let's go to the next category, which is logical operator. Trying to see how I can finish them so that next class we go to the advanced data type. Logical operators. Logical operators. Logical operators. So how do we define this? It's also very important. Very, very important. In fact, they are like the advanced types of operators. So by definition, we can say that the logical operators are used to combine two or more conditions. Two or more conditions and produce a Boolean result. Remember the Boolean value. Boolean value can either be what? True or false. Boolean value can either be true or false. So now let's look at a simple example here. Let's say I'm printing let's put them how do I go about it now? Okay, let's say print age. Print age is greater than, so let's set up our age first as a global variable so that we can compare it before we use, so that, because there must be a value you are using to check. So let's say age is equals to 25. So we set that one as a global variable. Then if I come here and say print age is, this is one of the relational operator, age is greater than 18. All right, then and, so this is the logical operator here now, that and age is less than 60. So if we run this code, we are going to get what? Let me move it down. I'm going to get true. So how come Python printed true? Now look at this here. You set your age to be 25. And then here, the first condition is that check whether age is greater than what? 18, which is correct. Now, the second condition is that check whether age is less than 60, which is also correct. So in a situation whereby I change it, if I change this now to the other way around, which is this, who can tell us what we are going to get? What do you think will be outputted? Are all the two conditions met?
False.
Because it
Yes.
must make sure that the two conditions must remains before it can print what 3. Okay. All right. So let's quickly go to the next one. Trying to see how we can actually sit down with this video within 30 minutes and grab this. So the next one is identity operators. So how do we define these operators, identity operators? They are used to determine whether two variables refer to the same objects in a memory. Remember, we said the program has a memory. The memory, they are used to refer to whether two variable words are referred to the same word memory. So let's look at an example here. So the first one we have here is, we have example of this. We have, okay, somebody have question. We have is. We have, sorry, not is, yes, exclamation. Is. Okay, somebody raised up hand. Oluwasho David. How do I help
Yes,
you?
sir.
How do I help you?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. That place that you use and, where you use and, when you use print age greater than 10 and age greater than 60, can we use or there instead of and?
Yes,
Or?
you can use
You can use all.
Okay, sir.
You can use all.
You can use all. You can use
not.
Oh,
All these
okay.
are.
all these are.
If we should use or here now, what would be our answer?
Okay.
What will be the condition?
Let's say all.
Let's say all.
The answer will be
The answer will be true.
You get it now, Mr.
You get it now, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's proceed. All right, so we have what? We have is, we have is not, so that I can particularize them at once. We have is not. These are the main operators under identity. Correct? So let's particularize them with Python lists, though we have not talked about lists, but because I need to explain this, I don't want to from list come back. So I'll just create a list. We'll understand this better in our next class. So I'll just create a list, just like a set in mathematics. So list of this number. And then if I come down, remember we said that this one is used to determine whether two variables refer to the same object in a memory of the program. So if I come here now and say, okay, B is equals to A. All right? And then that is one variable. B is equals to A. So which means that automatically all the values in A, they are in B. Hope you understand that. All the values in A, you have automatically stored them what? In B. So now I have C, which is another list. And this C has the following numbers. Let's say 3 as well. Right? Now, let's see where we can check the identity now. So if I come here and I ask Python to print is A is B. All right? You will say A is B. So let's print it and see what we get. You get it true. I hope that is well understood. Can I get the rest one? So this is the fastest way to explain it.
Yes.
Because A is, now, if we check now, let's say A is, okay, let me print the other one. Let me leave this one. So let's say we have print A A is C. Who can tell us what will be outputted? Let me take this one out first. Who can tell us what will be outputted? Okay, let me help myself. It's false. It's false. So A is not C, but B is A. All right? So I think the last one now, the last one, which is I don't know whether that should be the last one. The last one is no, after this, we still have one membership operators. Membership operators. So how do we define these ones? Membership operators are used to test whether a value exists inside a sequence such as a list or tuple. All these are things you are going to probably understand in the next class. I just want to use it to understand, to explain the concepts of this membership. So what we use here, example of the sign we use is in. This one, when we get to control structure, we are going to use all this so that it doesn't confuse you then. We have in and not in. So this is talking about membership. All right, so let's look at a simple example. Let's say I create a list of fruits. So I'm to store. This is Python list. This is part of what we are going to learn in the next class. But just flow with me. So let's say I have apple here, just like one variable that is storing multiple value. We have orange. Let's say we have orange. We have banana. We have banana. Now I want to check whether we have apple in the fruit. That is in. That is what we want to use here. We want to use that in keyword now. Whether we have apple. So if the task given to us is that check if apple is a member of fruits. That is the task. So what would the code be? Let's say print. All right, print. So we will capture what we are looking for, what we are checking inside it also. Apple. Then you now come outside the string. You now say in. That's the keyword. In the name of what? The list in fruits. In fruits. So it's going to output Boolean value, whether true or not. So if I run this code now, we are going to get what? True. Let me take it up so I can see it. So we are going to get true. Now let's say I put S here just to make it different, because the apple was stored without the S. So if I run it now, we are going to get what? False. So you can see how we are checking Python sensitivity. You can see that truly is an AI programming language. So we can also use the nots. So I can come here and say, okay, print, let's say mango. Print mango is, or not in, sorry, not in fruits. Print mango not in fruits. So if I run it, I'm going to get what? True as well. because the program is correct. There is no what? Mango in fruits. I hope that is clear. Let me get a response before I take the last one for tonight, and that's we go to the end of operator and actually play around almost all of them. So when you see us using them in our subsequent programming, I believe you understand why and what we are communicating. Let me get a response. Hope that is clear before I look at
Yes.
bitwise operator, bitwise operators. So bitwise operator are used to perform operation, are used to perform operations directly, that's the keyword, on binary representation. No assure, please, you can stop that your reaction button. Maybe it's the previous one. Representation of integer. They are mainly, let me add to it for better understanding. They are mainly used in low level program. That is why you see that you don't see programmer using them that much. Sometimes you may not even hear a facilitator talking about them, but we just stop at those ones. The example of them, you have them here, they are much, but let me just see. We have a ampersand, this sign, which means what? In programming, it means what? And that means what? And then we have or, we have or in programming, which is or is what we call pi. In your keyboard, you should know how to access all these keys, your keyboard as a programmer, you know how to identify them. So this straight line like this, look like one, is called what? Pi. So in programming, it represents what? Or. So instead of like that means we put that or in word, then we put that and we can use this operator to represent it. That's what we are saying. Then we have something like how we going to get it now? Let me check. My keyboard didn't have it. Something like greater than, but it's facing down like this. Okay, I think I've seen. Let me just take this one that I found first. Something like this. This one represents the programming not. I hope I should be able to locate the other one. Then we have this programming. This means left shift. Then we have this programming. I think this very one here is the left. What is this? Let's see. Okay. 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 Come. Yeah, this one is the left, while the other way around is the right. The right shift. So let's do some example here. Let's do some example, few of them. Let's say we have, let's say we have variable s holding 9. We have variable u holding 6. Variable u, let's say holding 6. All right, so if I come here and I say print a and u, print a and u, let's see what we'll have here. Sorry, print s and u, sorry. So I have a print s and u. So you can see that what? It printed what? 0. Printed 0. Now, so it's printing it in binary. Remember I told us that what we have done binary, you understand, it's printing it in binary. Now, let's say I store 5 here. Let's say I store 3 here. And if I print it, you see printed this as another binary. So the output will be in binary like we define it. All right, so you can put in the place of and, you can put the other pipe. Let's see, where is it? You can put this. So that will also print the binary. Then you can put in place of this, you can put the other one that I couldn't locate on my keyboard. So let's run it and see. Not, so it's not applicable. So let me see why I'm getting this error. Don't give the sign. Invalid, perhaps you forgot a comma. Okay, so it's not applicable to this scenario. Let me try the other one. Okay, so this one goes. Try the other one. Sorry. Okay. It's not the same thing I'm trying to put. So this will bring us to the end of operator. We have actually touched the major one, so I needed to just explain all of them. So in case you come across them in any form of programming, you know that we have discussed them. So there's no question. So your assignments, you are to, when the video gets to you, make sure that you sit down and have all these activities performed exactly the way I did mine. I'm going to check it for those that will be willing to submit their assignments. I encourage everybody to learn to be practicing. I don't know, I think there's one person that usually screenshots, person is doing well. Before the class, usually screenshot was just done. I don't know if the person is here. That is commendable. So others and Mr. Clements is also up doing his assignments. Other, please make sure that you attempt. It's very important. there's nothing wrong in you attempting and failing, so that before we continue the next class, you can, just like what Mr. Clement showed us today, you can just tell her, oh, we're doing this, so, but this is the challenge you have, so we can quickly discuss it before we proceed. Any question, please? Let me get a response from at least one person. No question, so that we can end the class.
Yes, sir. I have a question. No, just it's not on this. So I just have a question on the video recording.
Okay.
Is it on the YouTube you post the recording video, or where do you post the normal recording video?
Are you in the WhatsApp group?
Yes, sir.
I
I've managed
don't.
to see the video on the
Yes,
WhatsApp group.
good. Yes, I used to drop it in the WhatsApp group. All you need is just to click on it to take you to YouTube and watch it. Then if you have
What
an,
did you say, sir?
I say all you need to do is to click on that link in that WhatsApp group that you are in.
Okay.
Whatever link that I drop there, just click on the link to take you to the YouTube. Then
Okay.
you watch it. Then if you have a SnapTube, you can download it to your phone, so that you can watch it all the time without going to YouTube. All right, so thank you everyone. See you in the next session. So the next session we shall be going into advanced data type. That's the session that nobody should miss that session. Please, but make sure you master the last video, this video, before that session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.